Well, Hogan with the Man Cave Classroom in A10, and we could probably just go watch the beginning of Saving Private Ryan, and it'll save you some time.
Some of us do that.
Yeah, but when you're getting to this, now that the United States is in World War II, you got to remember that you're fighting it on two fronts. You're fighting it in Europe, and you're fighting it in the Pacific. And what they decided to do was that they figured, hey, in order for us to win, Hitler first.
Hitler first.
Hitler first. There you go. Hitler is really dealing with forces coming at him from the Western Front and then from the Eastern when he's talking about the Soviet Union. But this is going to be one of those things where if we fail at D-Day, at trying to break through that Atlantic Wall through France to get into Europe, it's all over.
Yeah.
So there is a lot at stake when we're looking at this.
And I don't know how much you get into the fighting of 42 and 43 in North Africa, in Italy. I don't. Because it's like, although it was happening, we're fighting Rommel, we landed in Morocco, we fight across the deserts of North Africa, we cross into Sicily, we cross into Italy.
A lot of tanks being used
now
too.
It was really the planning and preparation that went into the D-Day invasion that is the turning point of World War II.
Pretty much. When it comes up to this opening up a second front, soon after Hitler invaded the Soviet Union, Stalin called on the Allies to open up a second front. So in the beginning of this war, Soviet Union really not on the Allies' side, but even though we disagree on a lot of things, we're friends by default.
The enemy of my enemy
is my friend.
Is my friend.
Like that.
And like Hitler, if you remember Hitler and Stalin, they signed that Nazi-Soviet pact originally. Hey, let's secretly divide up Poland and agree not to attack each other. And then Hitler, with his plans of conquering the world,
didn't work out so much.
Ignores, betrays.
We had that political cartoon of Hitler and Stalin getting married, and the joke was how long the honeymoon would last, and it did not last long.
Not long.
The armies would be sent across the English Channel into France. That's this when we're talking about opening up this second front. Let me just find a map here. This is where we're going to be going to. Everybody is meeting up in Great Britain for this big party, if you will. You're going to cross that English Channel, and of course, the thing is that Hitler knows that it's coming.
And the disinformation that went into the planning of this was amazing.
There's a lot of interesting things. The
fake military base.
The fake military base with the blown up artillery and tanks and everything.
Wooden airplanes, cardboard tanks. Sending out encrypted radio messages that we knew the Germans were going to intercept and decode, kind of hinting that we were actually going to invade somewhere in Belgium.
Right.
Yeah, like just really, really cool stuff.
And the other thing too, before we even launched that invasion, this is where the SEALs, the U.S. Navy SEALs, they went in and did their advanced reconnaissance to get an idea of what was waiting for the Allies on the beach. Code name, this is going to be Operation Overlord. This is going to be the invasion of Europe. As we said, the Germans knew it was coming, so they built this Atlantic Wall, heavily reinforced, as we're going to see with these photos.
And a lot of northern France, northern Europe, looks a lot like the North Shore of Long Island, if you would. You've got these really high cliffs overlooking the beaches.
That's a great way to put it.
Especially where I'm from in Northport. We have like high cliffs overlooking the beaches in Northport.
Yeah, same
and
with us.
like there atop these cliffs, you've got machine gun nests, you've got artillery cannons.
So on June 6, 1944, this fleet of 4,000 Allied ships are going to be carrying this invasion over into France. Now, this is a big one, and we can do something separate on, this whole. I'm sorry, is this the Eisenhower one?
No.
Okay, everything. Okay, this is Hitler.
Hitler knew it was coming. Just didn't know when and where.
That the enemy will launch an offensive against the Western Front of Europe at the latest in the spring, perhaps even earlier.
If you go back to that map,
yeah,
for a second, it's like they
other
knew,
way.
They knew the attack was coming, but where? You've got 1,000-mile coastline you've got to defend here.
Limited options, really. It's just process of elimination. And again, meeting over in England and then coming across the channel when we're looking at this D-Day invasion. What's going to be waiting for them as they come? As you're getting closer and closer to the shore, Germany was very, I guess you could say, tactical in their planning. You have a lot of things meeting you at the shore. You have landmines, you have barbed wire, you have these things that you're going to see in some of the photos that look like a big asterisk. These are referred to as hedgehogs. You have anything that's going to prevent them from getting closer to the shore so they can step off of these ships like a gentleman and hopefully walk into and walk onto the shore. Everything, where there is obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and then you have to worry about the gunfire that is coming at you.
And Germany is smart here. they're preventing us from landing at high tide. If we can land at high tide, we're that much closer to our objective. They want us landing at low tide and having to cross 100 yards of beach while being shot at.
And of course, you're walking through water.
Yeah.
With 40, 50 pounds of gear on you while you're getting shot at. A lot of people didn't even make it off the boat. A lot of them maybe made it like 1 or 2 feet, if that. But this is what's waiting for you at the top. And this is what's this is just another example. They had the high point, they had an advantage, and again, there's looking down. They have a lot of cover. They have a lot of concealment. Only part of this guy's body is exposed. Whereas if you're getting off on one of these boats, all of you is exposed. Not much to hide behind. This is what the shoreline looks like. Again, these hedgehogs, preventing the boats from getting close. And this is what's waiting. I mean, when you're looking in terms of exposure, this is how much of a German body is exposed up at the top. Meanwhile, the Allied troops, everything. Nowhere to really hide. Plenty of places to run, but nowhere to hide. And again, this is what's at the top. Or you can hide behind one of these hedgehogs for a moment. But then the thing is that you're not going to stay there and engage them for too long. The goal is to get to the top of this Atlantic wall. Jeez. So Eisenhower, I think you know this speech more than I do.
Yeah, the night before or the day before Eisenhower meets with the landing forces, he wrote this letter. I don't have it memorized.
The eyes of the world.
The eyes of the world are upon you.
I thought I had it. There we go.
The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and wills of the freedom-loving people everywhere go with you. It was kind of the pep talk. Eisenhower knows the casualty rate that is about to take place, especially for the American forces at Omaha and Utah Beach. He knows it's not good. Here he is talking to the paratroopers who are going to parachute in the night before D-Day, try to get behind enemy lines and then really push on the Germans from their rear. Unfortunately, they missed their drop zones by like 20 miles.
And a lot of these guys also knew that there was a good chance that they were not going to come back. So a lot of them had Native American war paint on, mohawks. I guess go out with a blast. I don't know. It just
the intimidation factor.
Definitely with the intimidation factor. But again, you saw a lot of this going on. These guys knew that there wasn't a chance that they weren't going to come back, and a lot of them didn't. And this just gives you an idea of the amount of equipment that.
And this is the goal, because like once we secured the beachhead, we're able to then bring over everything we're going to need. All the jeeps, all the tanks, everything that we're going to need.
And then sometimes people just say, hey, why don't you just fly over and bomb them? Yeah, that was part of it. But in order to occupy the area and move forward, you're going to need a term you're going to hear quite often, boots on the ground, in order to make that happen. Jeez, imagine being seasick on this
No.
thing. And then again, those boats, they would, the plank would open up and then it was off you go. And again, walking in water, bullets are coming down at you.
Yeah, there's nothing these photographs can do.
No.
That can do justice to what it was really like to be landing there that morning.
And just to give you an idea what the chaos was like.
And this is where they got to get.
Yep.
This high ground. That's where they've got to get.
Good luck. Get up there.
I think I did the math, and it was like one soldier was dying every 3 seconds. For the invasion.
And when you get into the casualty rate and the death rate, I'm sure you mentioned this in your class, but I think I don't know if they did this one year or they do it every year. Every year. So they have these silhouettes of these bodies. They kind of cultivate the beach or kind of upturn the sand to kind of represent each soldier that was actually killed during this particular battle. And just as give you an idea of how many were killed. That's just part of the beach. And again, this is just one section of the beach, what you can fit in one picture. But again, when you're looking at what we had to sacrifice to get through that Atlantic wall in order to win in Europe, this is just a taste of it.
Yep.
We miss anything with this?
Nope.
It's definitely on my bucket list of places to go.
Now that we've secured the beaches of France, we'll slowly push south, liberate Paris, and then the Great March West begins to liberate the rest of Europe.
There we go. Thanks for watching.